What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Cooking Around the Planet, the show where we cook a recipe from every single country around this planet every single week until we've cooked a recipe from every single country. I think I said that twice, but you get the gist. Before I get into the details, let me introduce myself. I'm Austin, my wife Jess behind the camera, and the star of the show, Otto Reeves. All right, so a couple rules of the show. At the end of each episode, we draw from a hat that says every single country in it, except for one that we actually picked last week or a month ago. We've been trying to do this for, 2 years now?
Yes.
Yeah, and now we're finally doing it. So at the end of each episode, we're gonna blind draw a new country, learn about that country throughout the week, find a recipe, cook it the next week. We're gonna do that for 195 weeks. We'll be right here. That's what? 52, 104, 110.
Almost 3 years.
That's like 4 years, I think.
4 years.
Yeah, so we're gonna give it a shot.
Let's go.
We're not gonna give it a shot, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
So, we picked a country, it was like a month ago. Jess put in her phone, randomized, draw, and we picked the beautiful country of Benin, Africa. Western Africa, correct?
Yes.
Western Africa, I think. We'll double check. We got facts that we got written down. We've learned as much as we could. If you know about Benin, write in the comments. Tell us something we don't know. We don't know anything. We'd love to learn from you. The reason that we kind of had this idea is because we love to cook. We're not professional cookers by any means, never worked in a restaurant, nothing like that, but we just enjoy cooking. We love eating from different places. We try to go to different restaurants. We live in a town that has unique restaurants, things like that, but we're like, man, there's so many other cultures, ways of cooking that we probably would never even have the ability to experience except if we did something like this. So we decided to film it, maybe share with you guys. Food brings people together. We're gonna learn about these places on this beautiful planet that we live on. So come along for the ride. I'm sure I'm rambling. We're catching our stride here. We're learning, we're grooving. And we're gonna do it, right?
We gonna do it.
So, anyways, let's get into it. The first thing we're gonna cook is called Dahomey fish stew. Dahomey is actually what Benin used to be called. Jess will get into why later in the show. This fish stew is very simple. It consists of a white fish. We're gonna use tilapia. I think they use like porgies is what I was seeing. We couldn't find that anywhere. So we got frozen tilapia, thawed it out. We're gonna drop it in some flour. I seasoned it just with some salt and pepper. We're gonna fry it up, take that out, and then go from there. So, while I batter this up and fry it, Jess is gonna tell you a couple things about Benin.
Okay, so like Austin was saying, we have been learning about Benin. We are not historians by any means, but we do love to learn history and culture, so it's been really cool to just have a random place that we would probably never have thought to look into, and to now be I feel like so invested in this country.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's our first one.
And also, I didn't even know that this country existed before this. When we first drew it, we were like, I've never heard of this country.
Yeah,
And
so that's exciting.
That's exciting too.
Learning new places and new cultures and histories that, we knew nothing about. Benin, Africa is, like he said, in West Africa. The capital is Porto Novo, and the largest city is Cotonou. The population is about 13 million, and Benin is wedged between Togo and Nigeria, which we actually have a little circle map that I can show you
exactly where it is. Let's see if you can see it here. There's Nigeria here, and then Benin is right here. This tiny little country in Africa.
It sits on the coastline,
Yeah, it's on the coastline.
a small part of it, right?
It's on the Gulf of Guinea.
Let's get to some cooking real quick.
Oop. Oop. All right. Just gonna drop this in the oil. I have a ton of oil. I think I'm just gonna kind of just maybe about half an inch of oil in the bottom of this pan.
So, like Austin said, this meal is called Dahomey, and we're trying to find recipes that are kind of staples of the country. And since Benin was formerly called the Kingdom of Dahomey, it only seemed fitting to make the meal that the country was actually named from.
I've noticed a lot of the meals are like really simple. Obviously, a lot of fish. They use a lot of veggies, obviously. Not plantains. Sweet potatoes or
Yams.
yams.
They're yams, but they're not our American sweet potato yams. They're a root vegetable, but they're white and they're more like a yucca, yeah, than.
But this recipe doesn't call for that. But all their meals are very fresh, very healthy. There's not anything too much that's processed in what they eat, which is a plus for sure. We love that. I feel like we're gonna notice a lot of that.
Yeah. I hope so.
And not a ton of seasoning either. Alright, let's rid of this. It's always fun.
So unfortunately, you can't bring up Benin without bringing up the transatlantic slave trade. Because of their location, being on the water, they had a lot of connections with Europe and Portugal and France, and the slave trade was huge. During that time, they were actually a very rich kingdom because of the slave trade, but also gold, ivory, palm oil, and pepper.
Cotton as well?
And cotton, yes. So it was a very rich kingdom with a very booming trade system. And from what we've learned, that all went away when the French invaded the Kingdom of Dahomey at the time. And it unfortunately ended in the entire city being burned down. Something that's super interesting that I've really enjoyed learning about is not a great thing, but a lot of art and artifacts were stolen during that time. And just in the last 2 years, there's been a huge push by Benin specifically to get that art and get those artifacts back into the country. So they're actually in the next couple of years building 4 art museums in the main city of Benin, and there's been a ton of art that's been brought back from European countries to its original home, which is something really cool to learn about.
Fry them up.
Something else that is really neat about Benin, it is the birthplace of voodoo religion, which has been interesting to learn about. It's still something very practiced there, and it's not your scary voodoo concept that most Americans have in their mind. There's more of a spiritual connection with animals, believing that all living things have a spirit. They believe that all things come back to you, so they try to keep it positive and not cause harm on other people, because that will bring harm back to yourself. But they really regard pythons, and pythons are something that you see all over the bigger cities, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, we were watching, what was it? It's not uncommon to like, people have loose pythons in their house, right?
Yes.
Like
They're
60 plus pythons in their house,
Yes.
just roaming freely.
Yes. It's a deity. It's a positive
Shout out
deity.
Tyler.
Shout out Tyler. My cousin
Loves snakes.
is a snake lover, and we've grown very comfortable
Absolutely.
holding snakes because of him. So the people of Benin would appreciate that.
Huh?
So the people of Benin would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Voodoo is also one of the oldest religions that's ever been documented in the world. Pretty cool. Another really interesting fact about Benin is that in the 17th century until the 19th century, they had the first ever all-female military regime. They were known as the Amazons then. The name was given to them by Europeans, but because of the slave trade, there was so many males not available to fight in the wars, so the women rose up. And actually there was a movie that just came out recently called The Woman King, so we're going to be watching that to learn a little bit more about the first ever all-female military regime in Benin, Africa.
Golden Tate. I will say, get yourself a pair of longer tongs if you're going to be
When
doing this in a
frying.
deep pot. I tried to go at these, and it was like my hand was getting hot, so I went for the longer ones. But I think people actually do this in a smaller pot, more like that. But I just wanted to be safe as far as like there being plenty of room. Or you can always, well, you want to fry it in the same pot, I think, for the flavor. But I'm going to take these out. I wouldn't worry too much about them being fully done, although they're most likely going to be done if they're golden like that. But even if they're not a little bit, you're going to be putting it back in the soup anyways, and they'll finish up then. I don't think I've ever had any type of fish soup.
Me neither.
This is going to be
excited.
fun to experience something like that. Interesting. With the fried fish in there.
Yeah. It's gonna be so tasty.
Alright, set that right there. And then I kind of cranked this down just a touch. I had it like medium heat for the oil, but I kind of cranked it down. Probably can crank it back up now. I just didn't want anything to burn. So we're gonna go in, see if I can do this without nothing falling. 2 onions. It's a lot of onion. We love onion though. If you don't love onion, sorry.
This recipe is not for you.
And another thing to add, this is very affordable meal to cook. Like, I mean, the tilapia was like maybe $5. Tilapia is really cheap fish. 2 onions, 2 tomatoes. I mean, the whole meal. $8, $9. Oh yeah. See that meme where they're like walk into somebody's house and they're like, oh my god, it smells so good.
Yeah, that's me.
And you're like, yeah, I'm just I'm frying some onions
Onions.
and some garlic or something.
Yes.
But man, it does smell amazing.
Anytime Austin breaks out an onion or garlic, I walk into the kitchen and I'm like, oh my god, it smells so good.
Or
It's like,
cumin too.
I don't even have anything cooking yet. It's just the onion or the garlic.
We're gonna sweat those up real good. Alright, we've been cooking these for a couple minutes now. Now we're going to add these tomatoes. I just chop these up, not super fine. I don't think it matters too much. I mean, you don't want them to be super chunky, but you could also probably use like canned. But why go canned? You can just get it fresh. Same thing. Couple minutes doing this. Let that all come together.
I want to talk a little bit more about the origin story of how we got this idea. Austin and I were sitting at breakfast, and we have a favorite restaurant that we go to in town called Wake Up Cafe. It's an Argentinian restaurant. A local family owns it. They have a couple locations, and we were talking and how it would be cool one day when we have kids to have themed dinner nights where we pick a country, make a recipe from that place, and then, you know, can teach our kids about culture and different places around the world. And Austin was like, why don't we do that now? And so we made a note called Project 195, and it was almost exactly 2 years ago to the date that we made that note in my phone that we were going to do this. At the time, we had just moved out of the camper and into our house. It was a couple, we made that note on our phone, and 2 weeks later our dog got diagnosed with cancer, so all of our plans kind of got erased from our brains. And this was something though that we knew eventually we were going to end up doing because it was just too great of an idea, and something that we love is culture, travel, and food. And like Austin said, food brings everyone together, and it's been super exciting to get all the meal prepped for it. We live in Florida and we're about an hour away from Orlando, and between here and there there's so many different food markets, so we're excited as we pick different countries. We're going to be able to pick unique recipes, go into these food markets and find unusual things that we wouldn't just pick on our daily lives. Making an appearance to try to lick up some flour off the floor is Otto. How is that, bud? What do you think?
And yeah, so we watch a lot of food shows and they're all great. That's where I learned most of what I cook is either from YouTube or a recipe online. But normally you're watching people that are like professional cooks, which you gotta learn from them for sure, because they know certain techniques that you would never know. But we wanted to show people that your everyday, we cook anywhere from 5 to 7 nights a week in our house. For one, food's better for you. It's a lot cheaper. And we just enjoy it. Learning, it's like an art. But we wanted to show people that you don't have to be a professional cook to cook your meals at home and also cook other meals from around the world. We're nothing special. We're just two adults, some would say kids, just trying to have fun. Oh, caught that just in time. Don't want that to burn. And there is a couple rules on this show. One is that there is no rules, and two, is to always have fun.
Always have
So there is technically rules. That first one's flawed. All right, that's getting too hot. You definitely don't want this to burn, but it's merging together. Merging together.
Beautifully.
What term would they use instead of merging?
I'm drawing a blank.
Yep.
I like merging.
I like merging. Merge up the interstate. What do you think, Otto? All right. He's locked and loaded.
That's smelling really good, is what I think.
Yep.
Wow, that looks.
Yeah, so it's kind of turning into what I was hoping it was going to turn into. So I didn't really see any videos, maybe one or two on YouTube of this recipe, but I wanted to find a recipe from an actual like Benin site that makes authentic Benin. So I'm going off of a recipe off of CongoCookbook.com.
Perfect.
Legends. And I'll put all that in the description below. All the recipes that we use will be in the description below. That way, you know, you can go and cook it exactly how we cook it. And we're not going to try to add anything to it. We're going to do it exactly how it says it. Obviously, there's certain things that we can't find that are, or if there is something that we can't find, we'll make substitutes, but we'll definitely let you know. All right, so that's been cooking for about 10 minutes. Next step is seafood stock. If you can find fish stock, which is probably the same thing, get that. If you can't find either, you can use water. This recipe actually says water, but there's other recipes that say fish stock. So I actually found this at Winn-Dixie. Winn-Dixie, I don't think it's nationwide.
Oh.
But your local grocery store should have something. And we're just gonna go the whole thing in here. And if we need more, we'll just add water. I've never used fish stock or seafood stock.
Me neither, but I'm sure in, in Benin, this would be something that they probably have cooking on the stove.
Oh yeah, at the
for
ready.
days,
It smells kind of vegetable-ish, which I think, yeah, made with fish, vegetables, and herbs. I think that's enough. We're going to, let's see, it says, reduce heat, cover, simmer for 10 more minutes. I'm actually going to turn it up just a touch. And we're going to get right in here. Cover this up. Bingo.
Okay, so a really cool place that we learned about in Benin is a place called Ganvi. It's also known as the Venice of Africa. So it's a lake village where everyone's houses are built up on stilts. You get around by boat, and there's approximately 20,000 residents that live in this town. It's a thriving society with a network of more than 3,000 buildings, including hospitals, I know, it's so crazy. I want to go. Hospitals, post offices, a school, a mosque, a church, banks, all built on stilts. They use fencing to corral and farm different types of fish, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I think that's so cool. Here we go. I wonder if there's any surfing in Benin. Small coastline, but many surfing opportunities. Benin Surf Guide. A great place for surf explorers. Benin is squeezed between Nigeria and Togo and has about 100 kilometers of coastline. It says June, July, and August. you'll find the best serve. There's about 5 different places on here that it says are good surfing spots. Oh, cool. We live in New Smyrna, which is a surf town, and it's also the shark bite capital of the world, but we still go out and do our thing. But this does say that you may see crocodiles while surfing.
We're from Florida, and it's gonna be weird saying this to probably some people, but alligators really don't scare us. They're pretty skittish animals, so like you get near them and they usually just run away. But crocodiles,
Yeah,
we've always heard,
that's
I
another.
don't want to mess with them.
No. I would say I would definitely be more afraid of crocodiles even than sharks.
Yeah. Yep. All right, this has been simmering for 10 minutes. We will stir. Everything's kind of, yeah, liquidy, which is good. Because that tomato was thick, but I didn't know how thick it would be. Are we gonna add the fish back to it? Careful of the hot soup. Oh yeah. And then we are gonna let that simmer for 20 to 30 minutes. Bingo. Sorry. All right, as our side, we are gonna be making what's called Amiwo. It's kind of like a savory pudding. We use corn flour, and then we're going to be using tomatoes again, onions again. Again, if you don't like onions, get with it. Tomato paste, and then bouillon cubes, just one to add some flavor. And garlic as well. Well, we're gonna saute the onions, add the tomatoes, or saute the onions with the garlic, add the tomatoes, and then add the tomato paste, and then we're gonna actually, that's gonna be kind of liquidy, or add some water. We'll get to it when we start cooking, but we're gonna like add the corn flour slowly, and it's gonna combine into like kind of mushing kind of pudding, really.
Yeah, it is almost
Like a floury pudding. And then they kind of put it in a cup, pop it over, take the cup off, and it's this perfect little mound. So hopefully we can achieve that. Let's see what we can do. So first, I'm gonna try to do this without spilling anything again. Go in with the onions first. Garlic. Get all that together. We are going to add some salt and pepper. The bouillon cube. And a tablespoon of tomato paste. Mix that in with the onions. All right, saute that up for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna add the tomatoes. Put that in. All right, so now that that's all together, 2 cups of water. Just kind of leave that on a simmer for now while we go to the next step. So now we're going to use some corn flour, not cornmeal, corn flour. So first that's about 1.5 cups of corn flour. We're gonna add 1.5 cups of water to that. Hopefully the bowl's big enough. It doesn't have to be a perfect measurement, but 1.5 flour, 1.5 water cups if you're gonna be specific. Stir that up. All right, now we're gonna add this right to the mixture. Slowly, carefully. Mix that all in there. So now that I kind of mixed in the corn flour and water mixture, obviously it's not at the consistency you want it, and that's what the recipe says. It's not going to be like the pudding, the consistency that you want right away, so you're going to have to add more. So just add a little bit slowly. Do that. Stir.
And does this get baked in the oven, or just you make the spoonfuls of it and then that's it?
That's it.
Okay.
So we're gonna keep adding until we get like a thicker consistency, almost like I want to say like a refried bean type of consistency, and then we're gonna put the top on it and simmer for 8 minutes. A little more in there.
It's interesting cooking something that you've never had before, you know?
Yeah,
We've never had
yeah.
these meals before, so we don't really know exactly what to compare them to besides just the few videos that we've been able to find.
And it smells
It smells amazing.
like a corn tortilla. So good. Yeah, we're getting there. A little more. I'd say we're about at a full cup of extra corn flour, give or take. And we're almost there to the consistency. Yeah, look at that compared to what it was.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we're there. What do you think?
I think so.
Slow as you can go. Soup's just about done, 2 minutes. I'm gonna stop that. I'm gonna start it. Oop. 10 minutes, sure. Alright, boom. All right, so it's been simmering on really, really low for about 8 minutes. All done. Now we're going to scoop it into like a bowl. If you have one of these little bowls, that would work. Just so we can kind of just pretty much make it look good when we plate it. Now, the video I watched, which also I will put in the description, they did this, they set it aside, and when they flipped it over, it came out perfectly. Now, do I believe that that's going to happen? Yeah. Might it not? Yeah. So, I'm going to set it aside.
Yeah, all the pictures we've seen of this, they're like perfectly shaped. So we'll see if ours.
I don't know how it was going to come out without sticking to the side of the bowl, but maybe it's because the type of consistency it could be, that it just, or what it's made of might just not stick. So we'll see.
We shall see.
And if not, it's still going to taste the same.
Yes.
Good auto.
Oh.
Oh, it was just full spread eagle. All right. Let's check out this soup. Oh, it smells. Oh, it smells good. Give it a little stir. I feel like if you had the cold, if you had the flu, this will get you right.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're gonna set that aside. Let it cool off. Get another bowl. All right, so we're about to flip these over. Big reveal. That's what they're supposed to look like. Let's see if it works. Oh, it did!
Wow!
Oh, shit.
Well done.
Came right out.
I did not think that was gonna happen.
This is probably better than the beer bone.
How about that?
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. We are plated and ready to eat. Ladies first.
I'm so excited.
Super hot.
I don't think it's too bad. It is.
Super hot.
Yeah.
All right. We've cooled it off a little bit. Let's give it a shot.
Mm. Oh, it's so good. It's very comforting.
Looks like buttery.
Mm.
It's
So good. Very fresh tasting. And yeah, buttery, even though there's no butter in it. It's feels very like comforting. There's more flavor than I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. I haven't tried it yet, but I had the same thought. All right, get a scoop
So
of that.
good.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Initially, like you said, it's like almost like corn tortilla flavor because of the corn flour, but then once it was in my mouth for a little bit, I tasted more of the tomato and the onions. It's different. It's good though. I like it. I want to put it in the soup.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Alright.
Oh my god.
Right? We're gonna have to have that more often.
Whoa. Why we didn't use any butter? It must be from the fish or something.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I could see you could see it, and it looks kind of like butter. Oh my god. Yeah, super comforting. Wow. And so simple.
So simple.
Wow. That's really good.
Really good.
All right. I could eat that every day. Wow. Yeah. Just shovel that right into my mouth all day. Wow. All right, I'm gonna go for the double time.
Yes.
That's incredible.
New favorite meal?
Whoa. Amiwo. Wow, I'd call that a success.
Yeah, good job.
Wow.
So good.
We did it. Dahomey fish stew. Amiwo.
That makes you say whoa.
That makes you say whoa. Traditional Benin recipe. They eat good.
Yes.
They know how to do food. I cannot wait for this video to be over so we can go just devour more and more.
So much.
All right, well, we've come to the end. That was a success. Learned a lot. Like I said earlier, if you have been to Benin, know anybody from Benin, are from Benin, know any facts, drop them in the comments. We'd love to learn more. We only learned, like, of course, there's probably millions and millions of other facts about Benin that we haven't even learned about.
We hope we did it justice. I really do feel like invested in this country now, it being our first country, and I went on such a deep dive.
Yeah, she was all over it. So
much respect to the people of Benin. It's
Yep.
such an interesting, rich history and amazing food. We hope to visit one day.
yes,
Shall we pick our next country?
let's do it. All right, you do the honors. First, pick out of the hat, out of the Rays hat. Go Rays. Season starts in 24 days. We're pumped. Jess,
All right.
she's picked. Have you seen it yet?
No.
All right. In 3, 2, 1.
United Arab Emirates.
Ooh. That'll be fun. Whoa. All
I
right.
don't even know. I can't even think of what a meal might be. We have so much research.
No,
to
no
do.
idea. No idea. That's exciting. All right.
Yeah, I'm excited. All
Well,
right.
we have 1 week. We'll see you back here in a week. And for 94 more weeks in the future. So that was fun.
Thanks
see
for
ya.
watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe, it helps us out a lot. And we'll see you here next week. Bye.
Bye.
Sit, bud. Shake. Ooh. What do you think of the Amiwo? What do you think? Good? Oh, you love it? Good boy.